Hello all, good day. Let's talk about KSH International today. KSH International is in the business of copper and aluminium winding wires. Uh, they are at the headline numbers grew revenue grew by 100%, EBITDA grew by 60%. We'll cover in detail how the business makes money, what is the future growth outlook, and how the overall deal looks like. Let's get into the video. Uh, First, let's understand what is the business model and what is the primary product, right? So the primary product, as I mentioned in the first slide, was that it manufactures copper and aluminium winding wires. So why are these copper and aluminium winding wires used? uh, Plainly we can say that this copper and aluminium winding wires are used in transformers, railway lines, and many other high conducting electricity lines. Okay, now we'll understand the business model. The one main problem with all these industrial product goods are that they are heavily dependent on the raw material prices. With the copper prices fluctuating a lot, they would have gotten into a copper price risk. But here is the catch: they are into a completely make-to-order system, which is called as the pull system, where you manufacture only after getting an order. So what happens is only if the only after the customer places an order, KSH starts manufacturing its wires. So there is no fluctuation, or there is no impact on the copper price movements. Next, let's understand the portfolio of product portfolio and how is the revenue mix looking. Product portfolio consists of two main components. One is the specialized winding wires and one is the standard winding wires. Specialized winding wires are manufactured specially for it is a high value product. It is it has around 6 to बहुत सारे कोटिंग लेयर्स होते हैं, और इसमें से ऐसे बनता है जो कस्टमर के स्पेसिफिकेशन के हिसाब से दे गेट प्रिपेयर्ड. Standard winding wires are standard round wires which are used in small transformers, EVs, etc. Now coming to the revenue mix, 75% of the KSH's revenue comes from specialized winding wires. 25% comes from standard winding wires. 75% having a higher margin is a better product mix. And the standard winding wires, they were entered into in the year of FY22. So इससे पहले they were not into the standard winding wires. They were only manufacturing specialized winding wires called as CTC. CTC is basically compact transposed conductor, which is required to transmit high voltage of electricity. We'll understand the demand scenario. What are the margin profiles of how different are the margin profiles in the further slides. Okay, then before going into further slides, one thing is, why did they get into the standard winding wire operations? So standard winding wires, they saw that there is a huge demand in FY22 for ACs. आपने देखा होगा AC stocks have made a lot of money. So they saw they forecasted the demand in the AC air conditioning sector, and then EVs, and that's why they wanted to get into this standard winding wire business. Next, let's understand what are the markets they cater to, and what are the different types of customers they cater to. So the major customers they cater to are transformer companies. So the transformer companies need these wires to make the transformers, right? So they are the major customers. They have both a domestic and an export market. The domestic market we'll look into later. Let's look at the export market. Export market, they currently export to 24 nations, majorly US and EU. US and EU, and the entire of their exports is comes from transformers. I mean transformer wires to transformer companies in the US and Europe majorly. And it is also specialized wires. So first of all, it's export market, that's why the margins are higher. Second of all, it's totally specialized wires. That's the second reason why the export market margins are better. Now let's understand the domestic market. So before understanding the domestic market, let me give you an overall overview as to why this is a proxy to the renewable space. So if you look at the renewable space in from a bird's eye view, India का target था by 2030 they want to achieve 500 gigawatts of 500 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity. And recently in I think 2026 itself, we have crossed the 50% mark. So इससे पहले 50%, more than 50% was coming from non-renewable sources, which is the fossil fuels. In FY26 we crossed the mark of 50%, where more than 250 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity was installed. So the more than 50% of the energy requirement is getting generated by the renewable sources right now in India. Why am I saying all this? Okay, so the renewable sources majorly are in the states of Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and in the, so basically the western and the eastern side of India, and in the peninsular India of western and peninsular, eastern and western India, to summarize. Now what is the issue here? So the electricity gets generated in these states, but the majority of the, I mean much of the population is in the northern states, right? Like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Delhi. वो जगह में ज़्यादा लोग हैं, so that the power consumption is obviously more in those states. So what has to happen is, the electricity which is generated in these renewable spaces, which is the states which I mentioned, यहाँ से वहाँ तक जाना पड़ेगा. इसके लिए पहले क्या लगेंगे? केबल एंड वायर्स. सो आपने देखा होगा, देर इज इमेंस tailwinds in cable and wire industry. A lot of demand. There is no scope for आप उस कंपनी से दूर रहो जो केबल एंड इंडस्ट्री में है और बोल रहे हैं कि भाई डिमांड नहीं है. आप गंदा कर रहे हो, मतलब वो कंपनी गंदा कर रहा है. या सो लेट्स कम बैक, लेट्स नॉट diverge. Okay, so what has to happen is, the electricity generated in these renewable states has to come into the northern states, and when it comes to the northern states के grid में there has to be enough transformers and more powerful transformers to take this electricity in. What is the issue here again? रिन्यूएबल सोर्सेज में आपने देखा होगा पूरे दिन में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट नहीं करता. अगर what if the sun comes up, the electricity is generated, and if the wind blows, the electricity is generated, and if there is hydropower which is operating, the hydropower only works when there is the monsoon season and something like that. So it's not generated every time, and when it's generated in huge बहुत power के साथ generate होता है. So the transformers need to be capable to take this power demands into the grid. So the transformers needs to be powerful, right? So transformers के लिए भी there is a lot of demand, and हमने तो अभी ये सोलर पैनल और विंड मिल्स लगा दिए, बट इसको उठाने का कैपेसिटी अभी तक हमने लगाया नहीं है इंडिया में. सो द डिमांड फॉर transformers is very very immense, and this is a proxy to the transformer industry, because they need, for manufacturing of transformers, we need these copper wires, which is manufactured by KSH. Okay, that was a very big story. If you want to understand deep, you can check out Daily Brief by Zerodha. I think like 1 week back they had covered this entire story very nicely. Okay, this was the whole thing, and obviously there is rapid expansion in EV market also. They are catering to the EV market. Battery EV में जो बैटरी ज़्यादा है उसके लिए भी ये लोग वायर बना के देते हैं, वाइंडिंग वायर बना के देते हैं, and that is also facing immense tailwinds, as you know. Okay, let's move forward. The CTC, they say that, as per the con call, they say that CTC is the major differentiator. 75% of the revenue comes from large and medium transformers, which is catering to the transmission and distribution industry of power. Then railway and wind generator applications also they supply to. And they say that CTC is the defining factor of KSH, which differentiates it from other competitors. Cool, let's move forward. Okay, one more major thing which we need to track in any industrial company is that volume growth. If you check all these steel manufacturing companies, all the players which deal with the raw material, if you check, they would have reported very good quarters. But if you go if you deep dive, आप देख सकते हो कि there is no volume growth. सिर्फ price बढ़ा है, and because of the price increase they have reported much higher sales. That is not a good sign. If you check KSH International, the Q4 volumes were up with 30%, and the entire year volumes were up like 21%. They had given a guidance of 28,500 to 29,500 metric tons in February, and they had achieved this guidance of 28,167, just a little short of the guidance. Okay, now let's understand what is the room for growth. How are you going to grow? आप capex कर रहे हो? Yes, there is immense capex going to happen. So until the Q3 of FY26, they had a capacity of 29,000 metric tons. But they have a plant which is coming up in, I forgot the place name, it is called Supa. Yeah, so it is coming up in Supa. So this Supa facility has a capex capacity of 29,000 metric tons. So almost आपका कैपेसिटी डबल हो रहा है वन इन द स्पैन ऑफ 1 to 1.5 years. Immense, right? You have a very good demand which is coming in, and you are also getting your supply capacity ramping up. Excellent. The phase 1 of this project is already operational with the capacity of 14,000 metric tons. So the overall capacity has gone up from 29,000 plus 14, which is 43,000 metric tons. And they have achieved a capacity utilization of 70%, around 28,000 metric tons. आई डोंट थिंक सो इसमें से नए प्लांट से कुछ भी यूटिलाइजेशन हुआ होगा. इट इज़ ऑपरेशनल दो, बट आई डोंट थिंक सो इट इज़ मतलब उससे कुछ यूटिलाइजेशन हुआ होगा. या सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू हाईलाइट इज you have immense capacity to cater to the even immense demand which is coming which is going to come in. Yeah, this is a summary of that. Total which is 43,000 metric tons. Supa facility 14,400 already live. The rest which is going to come live will take the overall capacity to 59,000 metric tons, and this will happen by Q4 FY27. So Q4 FY27 और 28 में इसका मतलब पूरा का पूरा इम्पैक्ट हमको देखने को मिलेगा. Yeah, now coming to some of the financial metrics which they highlighted in the con call. So if you remember, I had mentioned that they majorly deal with the two kinds of products. One is the specialized wire and one is the standard wires. Specialized wires में, as I told, it is customized, it has higher margins. So the EBITDA per ton, which is the metric used for measuring the profitability of this industry. अब जो भी स्टील या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऐसे इंडस्ट्री वाले कंपनीज देखोगे तो दे यूज दिस मेट्रिक. So the EBITDA per ton for standard wires is 3:1 in the ratio of 3:1. And this is immense, right? आपका 75% revenue specialized wire से आ रहा है, and you have a 3:1 EBITDA per ton, and that's why you might also observe that FY24 से 25 में उनका EBITDA per ton almost like 40-50% से बढ़ गया था to around 60,000 rupees. अभी भी I think it has grown by around 10-15% the EBITDA per ton, mainly because of operational metrics and also the export market which they have started catering to. Okay, what is the future things they are going to do? So the IPO came in December 2025. They utilized around 225 crores to repay the IPO from the IPO proceeds to repay a loan which they had. And they are also going to optimize their working capital requirements by shifting to credit based purchases of copper. अभी तक क्या हो रहा था, whenever they get an order they purchase in the market price which is the LME, London Metal Exchange, and वहाँ से वो लोग कॉपर उठाते थे at the current market price. Now they are shifting to credit based copper purchases, and इससे उनका working capital cycle भी घट जाएगा because of payable days going up. Then product mix may be अच्छा, they are trying to maintain the 75% at least product mix of specialized to standard wires, and also they will be getting operating leverage from the capacity utilization which will come in from the Supa plant, and this will lead to overall margins going above the current ranges of around 6% EBITDA I'm talking about. Okay, this was the overall deal. So how does the overall deal look like? As I mentioned, perfect mixture of immense demand plus immense capacity expansion, perfect combination. Volume growth भी आ रहा है, 21% से volume बढ़ा था FY26 में. Hopefully with the capacities expanding and the con calls of the renewable sector, the demand is still alive and it is continuing to be immense. The CTC is their technological moat, as I said, and they're also diversifying into EVs, and they're also the only manufacturer which has the license to supply to the more than 400 kilowatt ka capacity ka transformer. They are the only person in India to have this license. Yeah, this was the overall deal. Do let me know how does it look like. The stock has already run up like 20% I guess in the past 2 days. I was not able to make the video yesterday, but I wanted to put it out today. Thanks for watching.